currently on the precipice with the war with Iran, and people don't know how detrimental that will be to our economy. That would obviously cause a recession. Gas prices might be $30 a gallon, and this is all in the protected, vested interest of the state of Israel. Israel just said the other day that they're planning to bomb Iran any day now. This comes after Trump's failed negotiations with Iran over Iran's nuclear deal. Iran doesn't have any nuclear bombs, but they could certainly make one. As much as the neocons and Jews want to push for U.S. intervention with the war with Iran for Israel, they make the most absurd claims saying that Iran has nuclear missiles powerful and strong enough to reach the United States. We all know that's total propaganda, and that's nothing more than to push this pro-Israel agenda that's been really foisted on us in the Trump administration. And obviously that's been the way it's always been in U.S. politics after John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1963 because he opposed Israel's nuclear program. We talked about this before. Kennedy issued inspections, which was pushed off for a long time until after he was assassinated. And then once they actually had inspections when LBJ was president, it was basically pointless because it blocked off the areas in which Israel was conducting their nuclear experiments. Israel got nuclear weapons first, and then surrounding countries like Iran nuclearized or had the proponents of building a nuclear bomb as a deterrent to Israel. And to this very day, because Israel had nuclear weapons first, we are now on the precipice of a war with Iran. I believe Israel will find a false flag to justify U.S. involvement. That's the way it's always been. Look at 9/11, look at what they did to the USS Liberty, and look at the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Their fingerprints are all over it. Trump stalled these negotiations for a long time. He had 6+ months to negotiate a deal with Iran that would allow enrichment of their uranium, but now Trump came out and said the other day that he will not allow that to happen. No deal has been made, and now Israel is claiming they're going to strike Iran without U.S. consent literally any time now. Iran responded to Israel's claims and said if this happens, they will bomb the American consulate in Israel. It might actually not even take a false flag for U.S. to intervene here. If they bomb the American consulate in Israel, there you go. I mean, that's all it's going to take, and I'm sure Israel wouldn't even oppose that. I think they actually are going to bomb them first in Iran, and then Iran is going to respond. They're going to force them to respond, and it's going to lead to the U.S. intervening for what, like an 8th time in the Middle East? This was part of the Clean Break Memo in 1996. All the surrounding countries of Israel, all their neighbors, they were set to be overthrown. This was written for Netanyahu over 20 years ago, and we've seen every aspect of this play out in time. Libya, Syria, Iraq, now Iran. It's only possible because our taxpayer dollars, our U.S. alliance with Israel, which to be completely honest is a parasitic relationship that involves blackmail, espionage, and coercion of U.S. politicians to bribe them to go along with Israel's agenda. It's bigger than just the state of Israel because they're just a little country in the Middle East. Look at all the executives that run tech, finance, Hollywood, and our political system. We'll find the same comparison that these people are massively overrepresented in our society, and these are the same people who condemn Jesus Christ and says anyone other than them is basically a dog. The Gentiles, the Goy, that's what they call us. That's what they call anyone who is not Jewish. That's predominantly who runs our country. It is not a secret anymore, and anyone trying to tell you otherwise is just part of the problem, and they're paid to promote that narrative, like Charlie Kirk, many of the conservative Inc. people. Now they're starting to have the conversation about things like immigration moratorium. Every time Charlie Kirk goes to a college campus, he has like 10 people go up and ask him questions about Israel and why he defends it. He basically has no answer. He gets made a fool of every single time. So this is very detrimental, and we have to avoid this at all costs. What I would do is completely decouple from the Middle East, end our alliance with Israel right now, and expose them for what they've done and how our intelligence agencies have played hand in glove with the state of Israel to destroy our American sovereignty, our culture, our free speech, our constitutional amendments, the very things that make us free Americans. These people have been behind the scenes the longest time, changing the narrative about everything. Here's what Trump should think about. If he actually lets this happen, his legacy is toast. He's going to lose MAGA. His entire base will probably flock because this is not what they voted for. It's not what I voted for. This is very likely looking like a George Bush 2.0 administration. So let me get this straight. Israel's about to strike Iran. We're already promising $18 billion to Israel this year. Only $8 billion in Doge cuts if passed. No mass deportations. Illegal immigrant farmers can now stay. $5 trillion added to the national debt. No Epstein files. Very little transparency and no direct correlation to who's behind the JFK assassination. Only 5 of Trump's tariffs have gone into effect. And a war with Iran would literally be the cherry on top to destroy Trump's legacy. I'm telling you, he does not realize how bad things could get. Remember George Bush's approval when he left office in 2008? It was pretty bad. Think how bad it could get for Trump considering how much he promised to his base, how he's really the best campaigner of all time, but he never follows through with his message. Same thing in 2016. Lock up Hillary, expose the emails. We didn't get any of that. And Trump even said in 2016 at a rally after the election that it plays well during the campaign, and he wasn't going to follow through with it. We could be hours, if not minutes away from Israel striking Iran. And based on Trump's decisions, not stopping Israel, not coming to agreement with Iran's nuclear deal, A third Persian Gulf War, which could imminently turn into World War III. I've been saying this since January. I literally said 6 months ago that here's how the next 6 months will play out. Israel will defeat the rest of Iran's proxies. They'll annex and expand their way through the West Bank, level out Gaza, and then June, July-ish, we will get a war with Iran with U.S. intervention. And I stand by what I said because I'm pretty vindicated on that. And you have people like Charlie Kirk who weren't even talking about that at all. So it really tells you where the credibility lies. It's not those that are paid by the establishment. So America does not want to fight a war with Iran for Israel. And I urge President Trump to stop Israel. That's the only way out of this, and the only way his legacy will remain intact, because it's very clear cut what will happen after this.